Welcome to another episode of the Fantasy Basketball PH podcast. Enjoy the show.
Fantasy Basketball PH. Put your money where your mouth is. At ibang talakayan kaya tara halika. Fantasy Basketball PH ang bida.
Fantasy Basketball PH. Ang numero unong basketball patasya ng Pinas. Fantasy Basketball PH. Dito mapag-uusapan mga ballers na ligas. Fantasy Basketball PH. Put your money where your mouth is. Iba't ibang talakayan kaya tara halika. Fantasy Basketball PH ang bida. Ang pahina na ito'y magsisilbing daungan sa mga hilig na ang basketball ay mapag-usapan. Kasama si Papi Ro, madami kang matututunan gaya ng strategy, analysis sa kaganapan. Pag-uusapan ang DFS, roto head to head, buy low, sell high, add, draft and trade, magic puno at iba pang transaction sa laro. Lahat dito'y tatalakayin kayo, wag na lumayo. Bida dito yung mga player na magaling kumamada, mala Nikola Jokic at Victor Wembanyama. Yung mga hustle na player like Russell and Dillon at iba pa ay dito natin pwedeng makusyon. Let's talk about NPBL, UAAP and PBA together with NCAA and NBA. At sa lahat ng mga nangungopya ka ng literal, sa aking mga content di rin kayo magtatagal.
Yo, welcome to the Fantasy Basketball PH podcast, your Filipino brand of fantasy basketball. At syempre, ang numero unong fantasy basketball podcast ng Pinas. I am your NBA Fantasy Papi, Papi Roy ng FBPH. And this is our weekly cross episode sa Radyo Pilipinas, DOS Sports 918 AM. Mga paps, kamusta? Nakadalawang linggo na tayo ng NBA to start of the season. At syempre, this episode, i-review ulit natin yung mga notable na mga happenings, scores, updates, news around the NBA for week 2. And umpisahan na natin yan dahil maraming mga nangyari, lalong-lalo na in terms of injuries. Nako, ito yung mga ayaw nating naririnig, so it's something na hindi maiiwasan sa NBA. Okay, umpisahan muna natin sa standing. So currently, ang nangunguna sa, actually hindi lang to sa buong liga or sa kanilang conference, pero sa buong liga, currently, the Cleveland Cavaliers with 7 wins and 0 losses. Wala pang pong talo ang Cleveland Cavaliers. Who would have known, di ba? Na talagang nagte-take effect itong Kenny Atkinson coaching. Isa to dun sa, hindi naman na-predict, pero isa to sa inasahan natin during our reviews bago pa mag-start ng season, wherein we're expecting na magiging maganda or posibleng maging maganda yung epekto ni Kenny Atkinson sa Cleveland Cavaliers, especially how it fits yung mga piyesa ng Cleveland, yung how they defend, how their offense runs, especially for pick and roll. Meron silang solid na big, dalawa pa yon. Meron silang solid na guards, dalawa din yon. And merong mga players dito na nakapaglaro na rin under Kenny Atkinson. So lahat ng yan is actually doing well, and they've played against several good teams na already. Pero wala pa ring blemish yung kanilang record. So props dito sa Eastern Conference leader and actually our NBA League leader, the Cleveland Cavaliers. Kaya ba nila tong dire-diretsuhin? Subukan nating i-monitor yan kasi mabigat din naman talaga yung mga teams eh. And apparently yung ibang mga teams din nagkaroon na ng mga injuries. So say for example, ang Boston Celtics na expected to be finalist already for this season. To start of the season, wala agad si Kristaps Porzingis. So yung mga ganung bagay really takes effect for the Los Angeles Lakers, sa mga fans ng Lakers dyan. Si D'Angelo Russell has been in and out din dahil dun sa may iniinda din siya, and couple of games ago meron din siyang illness. So those stuff or situation, something na hindi natin mape-predict. Pero this is looking good for the Cleveland Cavaliers as at least at the first 2 weeks of the NBA. Western Conference naman, ang nangunguna currently is the OKC Thunder. Wala din silang talo. 6 wins, and despite injuries agad doon sa kanilang team. So we're talking about Isaiah Hartenstein na nagkaroon agad ng injury. And then to start of the season, hindi din nakapaglaro ng 100% itong si J-Dub or si Jalen Williams. Si Jalen Williams sa backup center din for the OKC Thunder, hindi pa rin nakakapaglaro. So this shows talaga how strong OKC Thunder is currently to start of the season. This is something na is expected even in the Vegas odds dahil mataas yung projection ng OKC Thunder. Actually, they have the highest projection across all Western Conference teams, trumping the Dallas Mavericks, Minnesota Timberwolves, Denver Nuggets at Los Angeles Lakers kasi usually yun yung mataas yung ranking eh. Pero OKC Thunder nangunguna ngayon and rightfully so, pinapakita talaga nila despite the injuries na sila yung top dog dito sa Western Conference. Of course, pinangungunahan niya ni Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Maganda din yung dynamics ngayon nung defensa nila sa wing eh. Kasi they got Alex Caruso. Pero bukod doon, nagkaroon na rin ng leap at nagkaroon ng more minutes itong si Kayson Wallace. And si Lu Dort is also doing the torture chamber as always. But he's also scoring right now kasi yung depensa nasasalo na ni Alex Caruso sa nito ni Kayson Wallace. So medyo mabigat yun. Yung wing defense na yun can actually turn around games. Nalimutan ko na sino yung kalaban nila. Pero parang first half, nakita natin na, oy, baka matalo ang OKC Thunder dito. Pero yung second half, they turned it around. Talagang meron silang switch wherein kapag nag-click na yon, usually coming off defense and then rebounding na tinutulungan ni Chet Holmgren ngayon dahil siya lang ang main big man currently dahil do sa mga injuries nga. And nagwo-work siya. It works wherein everyone is helping out sa kanilang defense. Currently, sila na yung gumawa na sila ng marka eh. Across all the league when they do their post-game interviews. Hindi lang basta-basta yung main man or yung top player yung nagpapa-interview. Sinasama niya yung buong team. So it just shows yung camaraderie. And remember, nung na-trade na si Josh Giddey, vocally sinabi ni Chet Holmgren na medyo sumama yung loob niya at na first time na out of the blue siya na ite-trade din pala si Josh Giddey this season. And dahil nga matindi at solid yung samahan nitong OKC Thunder, hindi niya masyado nagustuhan and naapektuhan daw talaga siya emotionally. It just shows na itong Thunder was really built not only with good and young talent, pero they started a culture already, which is something na very, very evident sa mga teams na nagkaroon ng dynasty in the past years and decades. Like for example, the San Antonio Spurs. Iba-iba yung culture na ginagawa nila kumpara sa buong liga. You also have the Golden State Warriors and now the OKC Thunder doing this at this young stage of theirs. Hindi naman basta-basta na nangyari. They actually build this. Sam Presti did a good job really building this core team. Kaya shout out dito sa OKC Thunder. So yan yung dalawang team na talagang maganda yung pinakita for the second week. Ang noticeable naman na hindi masyado maganda yung achievements for the week 2, at least do sa mga expected natin, no? So of course for the Eastern Conference, hindi pa rin nawawala yung Milwaukee Bucks. Napag-usapan natin to nung first week. Ngayong second week, sila pa rin yung highlight kasi sila yung top, medyo expected to be in the top upper half ng Eastern Conference and it's not really working well for the Milwaukee Bucks. 1 wins and 5 losses na agad itong Milwaukee Bucks. Pwede nating isama yung 76ers. Kasi madaming injury yung 76ers eh. So meron silang reason. Pero those two teams na expected na nasa upper half ng Eastern Conference, hindi maganda yung pinapakita. The Western Conference naman, siguro ito medyo tricky to. Hindi ko naman masasabi na sobrang pangit agad nung umpisa nila. Pero like for example, the LA Clippers na has been always been a playoff since acquiring Kawhi Leonard. expected natin na medyo slow start sila kasi kaka-trade lang nila kay PG-13. So, pwede natin bigyan ng pass or bigyan ng room for improvement. Pero yung katulad ng Sacramento Kings, ng Denver Nuggets na 50% winning pa lang so far. So, we're expecting na they get some steam soon enough. Tricky din itong Denver Nuggets na napag-usapan na rin natin to in the past episode dahil medyo kailangan nila si Nikola Jokic so far dahil even Nikola Jokic is shooting threes already just because of yung kawalan ni KCP and hindi pa masyado nagkikilik yung expected nilang mga replacement. So, hindi naman direct replacement si Russell Westbrook pero siya yung biggest piece na nadagdag dito sa Denver Nuggets and he's already getting a lot of negative comments just because of the percentages and all. So, later on, medyo dadaanan natin yan. Pero those are the teams na hindi kagandahan ng performance this week. Okay, injuries naman tayo. Ito yung ayaw natin pag-usapan pero kailangan nating daanan just because may mga impacts at may mga updates in terms of team rotation para dito sa mga injured players na to. Si Scottie Barnes is going to be out for I think around at least 4 to 6 weeks itong si Scottie Barnes and medyo malas din talaga ang Toronto Raptors dahil marami agad injuries to start of the season. Injured agad si RJ Barrett saka si Emmanuel Quickley. So si RJ Barrett nakabalik na pero si Quickley pabalik pa lang hopefully this week. And then bago pa magsama-sama yung tatlo na hindi nakapag-spend time together talaga last season in a lot of games. Etong si Scottie Barnes, nagkaroon ng orbital na hit doon sa kanyang mukha at nasiko ito ni Nikola Jokic this week. So he is expected at least around November 21st na makabalik. And hopefully makabalik na talaga siya kasi if mag-continue itong injury na to, I'm expecting na itong Toronto Raptors being a little bit of a mediocre team this year. Baka mag-lean na siya sa kabilang side wherein medyo magtatak na sila ng konti para mapataas yung chance to get younger potential players sa padating na rookie draft. So subaybayan natin itong Toronto Raptors injuries kasi isa sila sa team na umpisa pa lang ng season napakadami na agad na injury. Next natin, and this could be the biggest in terms of impact, not only sa fantasy, not only sa individual, but also sa team. I think this is the biggest impact injury across the list na i-discuss natin for today. Nagkaroon ng oblique injury itong si Paolo Banchero and is going to be out at least 6 weeks. So, mabigat to dahil ang Orlando Magic is really expected to be on top of the upper half of the Eastern Conference. And they started very well. Meron siya din ang unang naka 50 points. Itong si Paolo Banchero. Tapos nagkaroon agad siya ng oblique injury. Is going to be out at least 6 weeks. So medyo mabigat 'yon para sa Orlando Magic. And earlier today, itong si Wendell Carter Jr. na I expecting to step up sa absence nito ni Paolo Banchero was dealing with a knee tendinitis strain. Tapos na-tweak pa niya kanina lang and posibleng makita nyo na rin to sa social media. Umiyak agad si Wendell Carter Jr. kasi in the past couple of years naging injury prone na talaga siya and dahil maganda yung projection ng Orlando Magic, maganda yung performance nila and then na-extend pa siya, nabigyan siya ng magandang deal off-season. Nalulungkot talaga siya kasi pinaghihirapan talaga nila yung ginagawa nila right now and Paolo being out and him being out is going to impact the whole team and that's a very sad situation and scene doon sa kaninang game yung pag-iyak ni Wendell Carter Jr. Another team na sunod-sunod yung mga injuries, maybe one of the teams na talagang hindi ko na masabing malas Feeling ko ano na to kailangan reviewin din yung medical staff nila. Kasi in the past seasons, their main or core players has been injured almost sunod-sunod na. So, I'm talking about the Memphis Grizzlies. And currently ang injured player nila itong si Desmond Bane. Week to week siya. Pero similar halos kay Paolo Banchero, oblique din yung injury nito. And aside from that, itong si Marcus Smart is going to be out then for at least 2 weeks dahil sa ankle injury niya. And remember, itong Memphis Grizzlies, halos nag-tank na last year. Kasi injured si Desmond Bane, injured si um, Ja Morant, couple of seasons ago, si Triple J or Jaren Jackson Jr. naman injured. And the start of this season, present naman halos sila. Pero si Triple J, may ininda. So, first week, hindi masyado nakapaglaro. And then yung youngster na ina-expect nila na to step up and to back up itong mga core players nila dahil nga medyo na-injury sila. Injured din agad. So, I'm talking about Gigi Jackson, Vince Williams. So, sobrang daming injury ng Memphis Grizzlies. But they're doing a good job. Solid din yung mga backup players nila. They've been playing very well. Shout out kay Jay Huff na one of the possibly fan favorites currently in the season dahil doon sa performance niya. So check yan. Si Jay Huff, low-key providing a big help off the bench para dito sa Memphis Grizzlies. So doon sa mga Desmond Bane owners dyan, medyo nakakaba kasi nga week to week yung initial na update. Pero dahil ngayong Paolo Banchero out at least 6 weeks agad and same injury sila, we have to monitor this. And hopefully naman makabalik agad itong si Desmond Bane. Another team, grabe. Another team na tinamaan na naman ng injury. To start of the season, injured si Trey Murphy III. Sumunod naman itong dalawang players ng New Orleans Pelicans. I'm talking about CJ McCollum and Herb Jones. So, CJ McCollum meron siyang thigh injury. Si Herb Jones may shoulder injury. Both are out at least 2 weeks. Tapos kanina hindi din nakapaglaro si Zion Williamson kasi alam niyo naman yung injury history ni Zion Williamson. So itong dalawang players ng New Orleans Pelicans is really going to be sidelined in the next couple of weeks, and ang expected natin na humalili at magkaroon ng additional boost or opportunity is itong si The Ninja. Very well known do sa kanyang mga steals. And hopefully makapag-step up siya kasi during FIBA maganda din yung performance nito. And then I'm talking about Jose Alvarado. And let's see kung paano yung magiging dynamics nila. Jordan Hawkins has been stepping up. So those two names are the players na ina-expect ko to really provide help habang wala itong mga players ng New Orleans Pelicans. By the way, sa kanina nating mga injuries, sundutan ko lang, no? So dahil wala si Scottie Barnes, ang players that are really providing help and good value when the opportunity came to them, si Grayson, si Dick Grady, for the Toronto Raptors dahil talaga siya yung umi-score doon, and then may couple of names like for example Ochai Agbaji and couple of names there like Chris Boucher are stepping up from time to time, pero talagang si Grady yung nag-step up for the Toronto Raptors. For the Orlando Magic naman, hindi pa natin masyado nakikita in the past couple of games, pero in terms of minutes, it was their young guard na si Anthony Black who started off Paolo Banchero. I was expecting Wendell Carter Jr. kaso yun nga, na-injury siya. And then dahil hindi pa rin makakapaglaro itong si Goga Bitadze, so I'm expecting Mo Wagner to step up on his place. And abangan din natin yung kanilang rookie na si Tristan Da Silva who's been providing solid value off the bench. Si Desmond Bane naman, buti na lang currently healthy si Triple J saka si Ja Morant, so they're really taking a lot of usage, pero ang nagiging third option nila recently is si Santi Aldama, so he's really getting a lot of usage. And I'm also expecting a help from the wings, lalo na dalawang wing player na solid dumipensa yung nawala. Itong si Scottie Pippen Jr. that has been really getting a lot of assists in the past couple of games. Okay. Punta naman tayo sa Atlanta Hawks. Atlanta Hawks, eto medyo madami-dami din. Halos yung buong wings nila na injury. Even in the past couple of games, hindi din nakapaglaro si Dyson Daniels. So I'm talking about itong si Bogdan Bogdanovic is going to be out at least 4 weeks. That goes as well with Krejci, si Buff Kane around 3 to 4 weeks din. Pagkatapos si DeAndre Hunter, similar injury, out din. So dahil madaming wings na out, after couple of names na we expected to really step up. Of course, yung kanilang number one pick na si Zachary Risache is expected to step up. Nag-step up naman siya. He has been getting the minutes. The defense is there. Pero yung shooting lang talaga, hindi pa nagkiklik. But dahil hindi nagkiklik yung shooting, there are other wings. Actually, kung sino lang available, yun na rin yung nag-step up. Katulad ni na David Roddy, who played a good backup role nung nasa Memphis Grizzlies pa siya. And then si Matthews din, na has been shooting the lights out dito sa Atlanta Hawks. So, those names are definitely streamables and maybe a hold for a couple of weeks pagdating sa fantasy kasi wala talagang naubos yung wings nitong Atlanta Hawks. No pun intended. Dahil Hawks sila. Naubos yung wings nila. Next is Kyle Kuzma. Initially, parang out indefinitely siya dahil sa groin injury. Pero so far, ang target ni Kyle Kuzma is just within the week. So hopefully, by this week or end of this week, makapaglaro na si Kyle Kuzma. For ito, medyo gruesome tong injury na to start of the week. Taylor Hendricks had a lower leg injury out for the season na itong si Taylor Hendricks. Medyo bad situation for the Utah Jazz kasi as far as I know sa mga podcast and radio stations ng Utah, they were really high on Taylor Hendricks pagkatapos na-injury pa itong si Taylor Hendricks. So, prayers up for Taylor Hendricks at sa lahat ng mga na-injured na players. Ito talagang yung injury ni Taylor Hendricks, yung mapapa cringe ka kapag napanood nyo. So, kung sakaling hindi nyo pa na-check and i-check nyo, medyo i-expect nyo medyo gruesome siya. So, meron siyang lower leg fracture. Lastly, another out of the season player, Isaiah Jackson ng Indiana Pacers. Last week na feature natin si Tyrese Haliburton not playing well to start of the year. Pagkatapos ito, dadagdag pa sa kanilang problema. Itong si Isaiah Jackson, nagkaroon ng Achilles injury and is going to be out for the season. So dahil na-trade na nila si Jalen Smith, yung isa pa nilang backup center, mukhang kakapusin sa center at least for now, itong Indiana Pacers. So I'm expecting the likes of other players like I'm na mag-step up ang alam ko, ang natitira na lang na big man para dito sa Indiana Pacers, yung kanilang mga forwards. Yeah, I think that's Jarace Walker. So isa yun. Doon sa hindi ko maisip na pangalan kanina pero si Jarace Walker, if you haven't known Jarace Walker is one of the top rookies couple of seasons ago pero hindi pa nabibigyan ng chance. Obi Toppin could be the primary beneficiary. Pero lahat ng mga nabanggit ko, itong si Walker saka si Obi Toppin, hindi sila legit na center. And at least Jarace Walker has potential of defense. Si Obi Toppin naman more of like offense. So, may iba talaga yung dynamics ng Indiana Pacers. Maybe Pascal Siakam plays more at the backup center habang wala pang kapalit itong si Isaiah Jackson. And Miles Turner, nasa kanya talaga ang load ngayon. So, maganda yung unang game ni Miles Turner dahil na-injured nga itong si Isaiah Jackson pagkatapos wala din nun at na-injured din si James Wiseman na both out for the season na. Tingnan natin kung marereplicate ni Miles Turner yun moving forward. Okay, dahil medyo hindi kagandaan yung news na yon, umpisahan naman natin yung mga hot and cold players natin for this week. So, let's start off with the Eastern Conference. Ang hottest player for the Eastern Conference this week ay si Karl Anthony Towns. In the past 3 games, he's averaging 32 points, 11 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal at 2 tres. So, those are big numbers for the newly acquired New York Knickerbocker. And pinapakita talaga ni Karl Anthony Towns na if given an opportunity, kayang-kaya talaga yung mag-provide na solid value. So, shout out kay Karl Anthony Towns, proving a lot of detractors and bashers wrong. And he can really still play and almost give you that first round value sa fantasy. And I'm expecting this to continue, pero in reality, kailangan ata nilang mag-sign talaga ng another big man kasi alam naman natin na hindi din naging maganda yung historical health ni Karl Anthony Towns, and if itong si Tibbs talagang bibigyan ng malaking minutes the whole season itong si Karl Anthony Towns, mukhang delikado na baka mamaya may indahin na soon enough itong si Cat. So let's see. Yun pa rin yung malaking butas ng New York Knicks, yung kanilang bench, and so far so good. Pero we're just in the second week of the league and marami pang games at bakbakan na haharapin itong starters ng New York. So hopefully, hindi, knock on the wood, hindi magkaroon ng additional na injuries pa itong New York. For the Western Conference, Nikola Jokic in the MVP form na naman and currently leading in terms of MVP stats both reality and fantasy, no. So itong si Nikola Jokic has been averaging 30 points, 14 rebounds, 10 assists, a triple-double in the past 4 games. Ito pa yung notable na stats sa kanya, has been shooting 2 threes on an average dun sa run na yon. So it just shows kung gaano kailangan ng not only the scoring but also shooting ng Denver Nuggets, kasi ultimo si Jokic talaga dumadami na yung attempts sa tres. This is something na in-expect ko na mag-continue din for the whole season unless magkaroon pa ng trades or upgrade ang Denver Nuggets. Good thing they are decent, dahil feeling ko ang expected ng lahat medyo mahihirapan talaga ang Denver Nuggets eh. So decent, feeling ko yun na yung most appropriate word, kasi they have Nikola Jokic, the best player in the NBA currently right now, the defending MVP. So nabubuhat pa ni Nikola Jokic and we're expecting bigger things for Jokic at baka maka-apat na MVP to si Jokic at this rate, no. Subaybayan natin yan for the Denver Nuggets. Mga cold players naman for the Eastern Conference, let's talk about Jalen Duren. So in the past 4 games, 6 points at 6 rebounds lang ang average niya. Pagkatapos, nag-average pa siya ng 2 turnovers dito. Pero ang pinaka low light talaga dun sa 4-game stretch na to yung minutes play niya, kasi has been playing less than 20 minutes on an average. Nahila talaga yon nung isang game na nangitlog siya dahil nagkaroon siya ng foul trouble. And he played a very less and with almost no stats dun sa game na yun. So nahila yung average niya. Pero he did play well earlier today, double-double. So I'm expecting na hindi din magtuloy-tuloy ito. So kung yung mga positive notes kay Towns, kay Jokic magtutuloy-tuloy, ito naman feeling ko yung trending downward niya, hindi magtutuloy-tuloy. So if naglalaro kayo ng fantasy, he was a very good target for a buy low, kasi at some point talagang makukuha na ulit ni Jalen Duren yung momentum. Siguro ang something to monitor lang dito is how good Detroit are playing whenever nabibigyan ng time si Beefs 2 or Isaiah Stewart. Mainly because si Stewart has more offensive and outside threat over Jalen Duren. So nagkakaroon ng opportunity for spacing and mas maganda yung rotation ng sistema nila kapag nandun si Stewart. Pero still, their best big man is going to be Jalen Duren. Ang point ko lang, i-monitor natin. Kasi if this becomes a trend, then mababawasan yung upside ni Jalen Duren for this season. And for the fantasy scene, tayong mga nagpa-fantasy basketball, alam naman natin na medyo malaki yung upside at high yung mga tao dito kay Jalen Duren. People are drafting him around round 5, minsan round 4 pa nga. So, medyo malungkot yung mga nakapag-draft kay Jalen Duren with this performance. Pero I'm seeing this to really trend up soon enough starting this week. Eto naman, in terms of really having a bad start of the season, let's talk about Fred VanVleet. In the first 4 games this week, di pala first, no? Yung 4 games lang this week, he actually averaged 11 points, just 11 points, 3 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 steal. So medyo decent naman yung assists at steals, kasi yun pinaka-expected natin dito kay Fred VanVleet. Pero yung shooting niya talaga, 25%. Grabe, 25% shooting lang for Fred VanVleet. So, yun talaga yung humihila sa value ni FVV. Let's see if that steps up. Chinek ko yung start ng season niya last year dito sa Houston Rockets. Medyo hindi din talaga kagandahan yung umpisa ng season niya. So, maybe that's a trend. Medyo kailangan pa talaga magpainit ng engine nito ni FVV. So, last year, he tallied just 36% shooting to start off his 7 games of the year. So after that 7 games, nag-trend up na itong si FVB. So maybe this is the same thing, pero kailangan din nating i-monitor if this is something that actually is influenced by his age or yung dynamics or direction ng Houston Rockets. May isang game na na-foul out din siya. So those things are contributors. Kaya nga, ini-encourage ko kayo to really watch games. Kasi kung check nyo lang yung stat sheet, wala doon yung buong story. So, if you watch that game, talagang maganda yung depensa. Pagkatapos, very frustrating game for FVB na foul out pa siya. And it was a very close game. Wherein, nag-step up naman talaga yung mga young players ng Houston Rockets, namely itong si Tari Eason at itong si Amen Thompson. So, watch out for FVV kasi hindi kagandahan yung performance niya. I think it's a very good buy low. Will this eventually trend up? Feeling ko naman oo. Kasi sobrang baba ng 25% for a scorer like FVV. So, logically, it's gonna trend up. Ang tanong na lang is, will it trend up towards dun sa expected value natin, third rounder value for FVB? Yun yung tanong. Kasi so far, sa history niya, pag chinek natin yung historical data, he can do it. So, I'm optimistic that's gonna happen. Ang catch lang kasi dyan is, there's a lot of good players sa Houston Rockets. So, baka mamaya biglang, uy, let's give more playing time do sa mga youngsters, lalo na do sa recent game nila na talagang binuwat sila nung dalawang younger players. And that's something to really monitor for the Houston Rockets. Shoutout din kay kabayan Jalen Green na mainit yung performance. Maybe that also impacts itong si Fred VanVleet, di ba? Kasi hataw talaga si Jalen Green so far in the first 2 weeks of the NBA season. Okay, bago natin tapos itong episode na to, quickly i-check natin and mag-suggest tayo ng upcoming schedule for week 3. So medyo tricky itong week 3 kasi mayroong isang game na wala talagang actual games all throughout the league just because of the election. So that's going to be Tuesday ng American time or PST time. Wala pong games for the whole NBA league dahil mukhang boboto lahat, no? And do sa mga OFW natin na taga-subaybay dito sa Radio 2 Sports, if you're actually an American citizen, I'm reminding you, encouraging you to actually utilize your rights and bumoto po tayo doon sa inyong mga states. Okay, back to the schedule. So with that schedule, obviously, nagkaroon ng adjustment at maybe this is the week wherein napakadaming games and there's gonna be a 15 game slate to start of week 3. So ganun kabigat to. Pagras meron pang mga days na more than 11 games din. So out of those schedule, ang na-capture natin na best among the rest is yung ating favorite team na San Antonio Spurs. They're going to play 4 games for this week. Dun sa 4 games na yon, Monday merong 15 games, Wednesday merong 12 games. Ito yung mga lighter weeks, sa Thursday merong 3 games lang, saka 4 games lang sa Saturday. So yun yung reason kaya napili natin ang Spurs kasi yung ibang mga teams merong 4 games pero majority sa kanila maglalaro dun sa mga araw na napakadaming games to the point na parang kung nagpa-fantasy ka, puno na talaga yung yung roster mo. So to some extent, hindi siya masyado maganda kasi overflowing. Sayang yung stats. Sana doon na lang sa mga games na or mga days na wala masyadong games. Pero kagandaan sa schedule ng San Antonio Spurs, meron silang 2 days na sila lang halos yung may game wherein sa Thursday 4 lang pag ang maglalaro na teams 3 lang maglalaro na games which is 6 na teams lang. Tapos sa Saturday naman 8 teams lang ang maglalaro. Kaparehas nila yung Chicago Bulls, to be honest. Ang difference lang kaya napili talaga natin yung San Antonio Spurs. The Spurs is going to play against Portland and Utah. And those dun sa mga games na they're playing against almost similar teams na hindi pa ganun kagandahan yung roster at in the development stage pa, talaga nagdo-dominate itong San Antonio Spurs, especially si Victor Wembanyama. So that's the reason why abangan natin. I think this could be one of the best weeks of Victor Wembanyama to start of the season. So mababawi niya yung first 2 weeks na medyo shaky yung mga performances ni Victor Wembanyama. Also shout out kay Jeremy Sohan that has been playing very very well in the first 2 weeks. Let's see kung ano yung mangyayari kasi mukhang pabalik na itong si Devin Vassell. Chicago Bulls naman, makakalaban nila ang best matchup lang sa kanila siguro Atlanta kasi depleted pa yung Atlanta. Pero the rest medyo mabigat yung katapat ng Chicago Bulls. So they're the best 2 teams for me pero I think San Antonio Spurs has the best number of games plus schedule. Doon naman sa worst games, meron kasing ilang mga teams na 3 lang yung games for the week. So I'm talking about the Brooklyn Nets, New Orleans Pelicans, Utah Jazz, and the Washington Wizards. Pero out of those 3, ang pinaka hindi ko gusto na schedule is the Washington Wizards. So I think they're the worst team in terms of schedule for week 3 just because they're only playing 3 games pagkatapos hindi pa ganun kadali yung makakaharap nilang team. Plus, all of those games will be played dun sa mga days na napakadaming games. So kung iilan na nga lang din, almost si Jordan Poole na lang talaga yung parang primary fantasy target mo sa Washington Wizards na that you expect na talaga magdi-deliver. Wala ka na halos magagamit. Kasi puno din yung team mo dahil napakadaming games do sa days na meron laro ang Washington. So in that point, I think they are the worst team to with the schedule for this week. Okay? So ayun, best team for this week San Antonio Spurs, worst team naman in terms of schedule ay ang Washington Wizards. Okay, ayan. Maraming salamat mga Paps. I hope nagustuhan niyo yung another episode. Ang daming nangyari, ang daming mga updates natin. And this is going to be a trend na gagawin natin every week. So abangan natin yung updates natin for week 3. But for now, enjoy lang muna tayo. Subaybayan nyo and follow our content sa Fantasy Basketball PH sa Facebook. And of course, this is being cross-posted and cross-recorded for Radyo Pilipinas 2 Sports 918 AM. Always choose peace mga paps.